99% of coaches struggle with this one thing, and it's the one thing that stops them from taking their coaching business from 20, 30, 50K a month to six figures or even multi six figures a month with their coaching business. And it's not a show rate problem. It's not a lead to book ratio. It's not anything like super technical like that. What it is just understanding what to work on inside your business. I talk to so many coaches on a weekly basis who are trying to fix problems that aren't even problems. They're working on things that have no relevance to their business. They're, testing things out that are actually not going to make them any money. And it's the biggest problem that I see with most coaches is that they're working on things that aren't actually attributing revenue. And they're spending time on things that aren't actually going to make them money. I mean, realistically, no one wants to work 16 hours a day to not make more money. Okay, you want to be working, however many hours you want to work and make more money continuously. Okay, and I see so many coaches stuck in this loop of trying to fix problems that aren't there, spending time on things that aren't making them money, and that's the thing that holds them back. They don't actually know what to work on inside their business because they don't have clarity of what's actually happening inside this business. So in this video, I'm going to break down pretty much how to do a bottleneck analysis. A bottleneck analysis is, as it seems, it's finding out where your problems are. Okay, looking at the data and figuring out what is the easiest thing you can work on today to fix that problem to make more money next week or the week after that. Okay, so let's get straight into it. I'm going to show you guys how to do a bottleneck analysis in this video. Now, when it comes to actually fixing problems inside an info business, it's not like you're just taking guesses. Okay, it's not about, oh, I think I have a problem here, let me try and fix it. It's about actually in clarity, actually seeing where the problem is, okay? And the way you do that is through data, okay? Info businesses and the way I specifically work with coaches and all that type of stuff is by looking at data. I'm not taking rational bets that I have no clue about if they're gonna play out. I'm looking at things that I can see the data of and I'm like, okay, there's a problem, let me fix that problem. I'm not going, I think we have a problem here, let me try and fix that. I actually can see where the problems are. And that's also a big problem with a lot of coaches. They don't know where the problem is because they can't see the data. Okay, so I did post a video previously about how to track your data. So if you guys want to go watch that, I did create a video about it. I'll probably put the link in the description. Tracking metrics isn't that hard. Either way, okay, when it comes to the metric side of things, it's going to be the most crucial thing when it comes to actually seeing where the problems are and then being able to fix it. So all good and well, now that you actually have your metrics set up, so let's just assume you've got your metrics set up now, you can see everything super clearly. Now let's get into how to actually do a bottleneck analysis, okay? So the first thing you need to do when it comes to doing a bottleneck analysis is actually understanding baseline metrics. Now when it comes to baseline metrics, you have to understand what the baseline is for that specific funnel to understand what you are doing good at and what you're doing bad at. Now these specific metrics are all for paid traffic, okay? That's the way we run most of our offers is through paid traffic. So this is one specifically for paid traffic specifically, but they can be in some level relation to organic traffic, okay? So for example, a show rate. If you have a show rate on organic or paid of 80%, that's really fucking good, okay? I wouldn't change a thing there, okay? If your lead to book ratio is 15% on organic, that's probably a problem. It's not a huge problem, but it's probably something that, might be a problem for you, okay? Your closed deal to lead flow, okay? So however many leads you get out of 100 leads, how many are you actually closing, okay? Is it 5%? Is it 3%? What is it, okay? Total close rate, so out of the people that show up to your calls, if you're at a 25% show rate or close rate on organic traffic, I would consider that a problem, okay? If you have a 25% close rate on paid traffic, I would say that's really good, okay? So in that aspect, overall, you can look at these metrics and take them with a grain of salt and kind of just decide. So I'll drop this in the link in the description so you guys can see kind of what baseline metrics could look like. Again, this is for paid traffic, but you can still scale with these metrics if you're on organic, okay? So that's what that looks like for specifically a book a call funnel. This is what a webinar funnel, if you guys are running webinar funnels, that's what that looks like, okay? There's a lot more metrics that go into different funnels. If you're running like a profile funnel, it's like however many outreaches you do to your followers, how many do you book in? From how many book in, how many actually close? All those types of things. So it's a lot of different metrics, but overall, these are kind of some baseline metrics you guys can look at for a core funnel specifically, okay? So if you guys are looking for help to scale up your offer for your coaching business, your consulting offer, whatever it may be, there's going to be a link in the description for you guys to book in a call with me. If you don't want to book in a call, there is going to be a link to my Instagram where you guys can just shoot me a message as well. Now, when it comes to doing a bottleneck analysis on your info business, the one thing I want to preface before we get into anything is that the higher up you go in your funnel, so let's say, for example, you're trying to fix a close rate. Yes, it'll impact you, you'll make more money, but if you go higher up the funnel, so instead of fixing your close rate, you just fix your, let's say, for example, your conversion ratio on your actual funnel. So let's say, for example, your conversion ratio is 5%. So out of 100 people that view your funnel, 5% of them actually become a lead. If you took that 5% to 10%, now you're getting double the leads, so you're getting double the amount of leads, okay? You're gonna get double the amount of bookings if your lead to booking ratio stays the same, okay? From the double bookings, you're gonna get not a doubled show rate, but you're just gonna get more volume through that, okay? And then through more volume, you're gonna have the same close rate, which in turn is gonna make you a lot more money. So let's say, for example, you had a 30% close rate, okay? Out of 10 calls, you're closing 3. Now, with that same volume, just by fixing that one problem, you didn't increase your show rate, but you're still gonna make double the money. Why? Because you're getting more leads to actually show up on call, which in turn is gonna make you close more deals if your close rate stays the same. Okay, so that's the one thing I want you guys to understand, is that the higher up in the funnel you go, the more impactful it's gonna be. Yes, fixing a close rate, yes, fixing a show rate is gonna be impactful, but if you can fix things up in the funnel, like how many people convert on the funnel, how many people convert from your ad, if you've got like a 0.5% conversion ratio from the ad to the landing page, it's probably bad. So it's about tuning these fine little details and getting the most out of what you currently have. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick bottleneck analysis with you guys. So I'm gonna take 5 seconds to go through these metrics. This is specifically for a ads offer, okay? These are not real metrics. I just came up with this with AI, okay? Anyways, so organic impressions, 50,000. Click CTR to landing page, 2,000, okay? Landing page visitors, about 1,000, okay? Lead to book ratio, 8%, okay? Total leads monthly, around 80. Lead flow rate is about 2.7 per day. Lead simple, don't know what that metric means. Anyways, call quality, so overall qualified call rate 82%, unqualified call 14%, so show up rate is 38%, no show rate is 62%, okay? Now with that as well, close rate being 35%, average deal value 3,000, average upfront payment 2.4, okay? So I want you guys to take a second to actually just think about this and see, where are our problems, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, cool, you've got it. Now, first thing we're gonna look at is lead to book ratio. 8%, okay? 8% is fairly bad, okay? Like people, so let's say for example, you get 100 leads, you're only booking in 8 of them. Like if you doubled that metric tomorrow, which is honestly very simple, it's probably a setup problem. If you're running some sort of book a call, if you're running some sort of application funnel, that's likely a setup problem, so that's super quick to fix, okay? But if you took that from 8% to 20%, which is almost like the baseline of what this should be, okay? I would consider 15 to 20% good for ads and organic, okay? If you had a 15 to 20% booking rate, so lead to booking rate, you'd get double the amount of leads, which in turn is gonna make you double the money, okay? So that's the first bottleneck, and that's one thing, because I would honestly say if you fix that one thing, you're gonna make double the money automatically, okay? Simple as that, okay? So that's your one problem right there. Now, another problem I noticed over here specifically is show up rate. Show up rate being 38%, okay? That's definitely a problem. That's definitely a problem. So that means pretty much out of every 3 calls, 1 person is showing up, okay? I would hate to be a closer on this offer. Anyways, that problem, another thing is it's a systems problem, okay? Close rate, it's difficult to close, it's difficult to fix because it's more of a people problem more than a systems problem, okay? When it comes to show up rate, it's very simple. There's a lot of things you can do to fix those specific problems, like calling people when they book in, getting them in group chats, sending them assets, following up with them until the call. It's doing these small things that'll increase your show rate, okay? So if you double those 2 metrics, you'll pretty much quadruple the amount of money you will make, okay? Now, if we look at the upfront payments, perfect. If we look at average deal size, 3K, upfront payment 2.4, honestly, if you doubled your price, you would make double the money, okay? So I would, honestly, if I'm looking at this info business, I'm doubling the price right now, okay? So that's just a quick bottleneck analysis on that side of things. Scenario 2, okay? 50,000 monthly impressions, CTR 3.5, really fucking good, okay? Landing page visitors about 1,750, okay? Lead to book ratio 14%, total leads monthly 240, lead flow rate per day 8, Then qualified call rate, 28%. Okay, qualified call, 69, unqualified, 176. Show up rate, 72%. No-show rate, 28%. Okay, when it comes to our close rate, 18%. Average deal value, 3,000. Average upfront payment, 2.4. Okay, so now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What are our problems? Okay, in simple terms, show rate is really good. Okay, qualified call rate seems to be the biggest problem here. This means you're getting 20, like out of literally 3 calls, 1 person has the money and has the intent to buy from you. Okay, so that would be your biggest problem. That's also probably why the close rate is super, super low. So that's another thing to look at in a bottleneck analysis is like, you can't just look at it as face value. You can't just say, close rate's bad, I'm going to fire my current closer and hire a new person. You've got to look at for the reasons these things are happening, okay? Now, for example, if we look at our qualified call rate and we took it from 28%, let's say, to 70%, okay? So almost a 2.5x, okay? If you took that, I guarantee your close rate would double, okay? I guarantee it, okay? Because if you have a qualified call rate of 28%, and your closer is closing 18% of those leads, okay? That means like, you know, out of almost 10 leads, he's closing 6, okay? Which I would say is really, really good, okay? But because he's got so many unqualified calls on his calendar, it means that he has to be like, I didn't close this person because they didn't have the money. This person didn't show up, or this person didn't do this because they didn't have intent or didn't have the money, whatever it may be, okay? And at the end of the day, that would be, I would say, your biggest problem. So yeah, instead of booking in 200 calls a week or 250 calls every single month, what would you rather do? You'd rather book in 70 calls a month and have, let's say, for example, 100 calls a month, have a 60% qualified call rate, and then you're closing at 50% or 40%, whatever it may be. So that's another thing. As I said, like, you can't just look at things from face value. You've got to look at what's affecting these things. So honestly, I would say that is your biggest problem right now. Same thing, I would just double the price over here to double the revenue as well. But if you fix that one thing, you're definitely making more money, okay? So on that side of things, let's get into webinar scenario 3. I don't know how relevant this is to you guys. I'll quickly just run through a few things. Live show rate, 22%. Let's start from the top. 30 organic impressions, okay, 30,000 organic impressions, CTR 2.5, total registration 750, okay? Live attendees, okay, 22%, no-show rate, 78%. Stayed through offer, 38%, saw the offer, 63%, dropout rate, 62%, CTA to book a call, 15%, call show rate, 75%, no-show rate, 25%, close rate, 40%, okay. Now, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to realize what these problems are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay. Number 1 being show rate, okay? A 22% show rate on a webinar is fucking terrible, okay? If you doubled that metric, you're making double the money. Why? Because you're going to get double the amount of people on a call. You're going to get double the amount of people on your webinar, which is going to in turn make double the amount of people to stay till the pitch, which in turn is going to make double the amount of people book a call, double the amount of people to show up, double the amount of people to actually close on call, okay? So I would, number 1, that's your first thing, okay? This is the most impactful thing you have to change right now to make more money tomorrow, okay? Or for your next webinar, okay? So a 22 live show rate, terrible, okay? There's a lot of problems here though, okay? Stayed throughout offer, 38%, okay? That's also pretty bad, okay? Drop-off rate, 62%. That means 62% of the people that started the webinar left when they started the offer, okay? As soon as they started pitching, 62% of people had left. Why? That means you've got a retention problem, meaning your webinar slides were shit, your presentation skills are shit, okay? And honestly, it's just about, you know, there's a lot of problems here, but your first one would definitely be your live show rate. Second one would be fixing your drop-off rate, okay? CTA to book a call, not too bad. If you've only got about 38% of people, that means you've got almost like I would say like a 40% conversion ratio to book a call if only 38% of people stayed and 15% of those people booked, okay? Which is, I would say, fairly decent, so that wouldn't be a problem in my eyes. 75% show rate, good. Close rates, 40%, all that type of stuff, okay? So your 2 biggest problems here is your drop-off rate and live show rate. First one, and we have to look at it from the aspect of what is going to take the least amount of time to fix and it's going to give me the most value and put most money in my pocket, okay? You don't want to be doing things that are going to take you 3 weeks to figure out and solve problems and are going to take 100 hours to solve. No, you want to do something that you can do right now that's going to fix instantaneously, that's going to make you so much fucking money. What is that? That is fixing your live show rate, okay? A live show rate's not that hard to fix. You don't have to have these crazy things. You probably got to film a few more videos, script out a few more emails, okay? And maybe change around the offer angle and make people a bit more serious about it. That's it, okay? If you do those 3 things, your show rate will increase, okay? So again, we don't want to look at it in the aspect of, oh, I need to have every metric perfect. We need to look at it, okay, where are our problems right now? What is something that is, a problem that I can fix today that is going to double my money the next time I run a webinar, the next time we take a call, whatever it may be. You've got to look at it in the aspect of what is going to be the easiest thing. Because I said at the beginning of this video, you guys don't want to be working 16 hours a day, I'm sure, okay? I love working, okay? I don't mind working 16 hours a day. But I for sure don't want to work 16 hours a day to not make more money, okay? Now, again, okay, this is all about what is going to get you the most bang for your buck. Yes, sometimes you're going to have to work and actually put in graft to figure some stuff out. But at the end of the day, if you can see these problems, see them for what they are, and be like, okay, if I double that metric today, figure out how to double it, I'm going to make double the amount of money, which in turn is probably not going to take a lot of effort, but it's going to have so much impact. And it's about understanding where your problems are, what's going to be the easiest and highest leverage activity you can fix right now to make you more money, okay? So overall, that's how you do a bottleneck analysis. It's not super complicated. I didn't want to make this video complicated. It's literally just about seeing your metrics, understanding your baseline metrics, and then identifying what is going to be the easiest thing I can double right now to make more money. So if you guys are looking for help to scale up your offer for your coaching business, your consulting offer, whatever it may be, there's going to be a link in the description for you guys to book in a call with me. If you don't want to book in a call, there is going to be a link to my Instagram where you guys can just shoot me a message as well. Either way, I'll drop that video about how to actually track your metrics in your info business. In addition to that, I'll put in that tracking sheet that you guys can use to see the baseline metrics.